All right. So I'm here with Alexei, Thomas, Jack, and Clappy, and we're going to just go over the current state of sort of cleanup projects. I saw Clappy's email. There's a few questions about the glyph set, and I guess I have some questions about the timing and the schedule looking forwards. So I guess Clappy, do you want to jump into it with your email?
Yeah. Should I continue talking about the questions? Or should I kind of?
Yeah. Did everyone see Clappy's email?
No. Which email are we talking about?
This is on the group,
Okay.
on the discussions group. My update, daily update.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I can give you an update of what's been happening. I finished Anton and I've pushed it on my GitHub repository. I mean, pushed it to the fork. And I did some of the Vietnamese stuff just to kind of get my head around it. But the remaining I've highlighted so that Hyung can access it easier and she can kind of start finishing that. I've started working on Bevan today, and I finished Bevan as well, and I've pushed it to the fork. So I have 2 today for Hyung to start working on.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the day I'll be reviewing Alexei's math font thing, which I won't be taking more than half an hour to do, and reviewing some probably refining more the character set bit, because every time, like after we've actually started expanding, I've found more things that can be updated.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those I've mentioned in my update. So we can kind of, I mean, we can talk about those separately later on, or we can talk about them now if you want. I don't know. What would you like to do?
Me.
Okay, so the first question was to do with the first observation was to do with this apostrophe modifier letter, which is used in the character n apostrophe, which is included in our plus set. And n apostrophe is generally a composite made up of this apostrophe modifier and the lowercase n. And we don't have the apostrophe modifier in the plus set. We do have it in the pro, so maybe we need to include that in the plus set. So we can create so we can make a composite instead of having an outline glyph for that. That was the first thing. The second thing was especially to do with the plus set, where we've included the case-specific marks for the below marks, so dot below combining, diaresis below combining, comma accent combining, etc. I think for most of the plus fonts, we don't need these because they're like they're used for kind of transliteration and stuff, which we are supporting in Pro and Expert. So I think we should keep them in the plus set, but I think we should make a note of it somewhere and say that these should only be used if somebody wants to extend it in the future, or there is specific use case where you want maybe compressed lower compressed marks for the bottom, and maybe a place to kind of note down all these specifics is the wiki on the Google/fonts, but I'm not sure if that's the right place.
Yeah, my suggestion is just to README.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And the last is that we've included the /0 in the glyph set. I don't think that the /0 is kind of required to be added in every, because it's a stylistic variant. It's not really supporting any languages or anything. So if you're working to expand a monospace or something like that, maybe it's more useful there than it is in, like Creepster or something. So I think, yeah, those are the 3 things that I had for now. I have other things, but those are kind of specific to the files, and I'll kind of add them to the issue tracker later today.
A very good point, Kalapi. I think 0 can be moved to the recommended list with all this explanation. I can do that. And thanks.
Cool. Yeah, so that's my update for now. I'll push the, I mean, I will update the discussion to reflect the completion of Bevan as well. But I still need to process these fonts, which means I need to wait. I need to wait for Hume to finish the Vietnamese stuff. Then once she sends them back to me, I can generate the final font files and then make a final commit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it from me.
Hey, Pablo.
Hi.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. I've just forked Vernon's project from your repo into /Google Fonts.
Okay.
And I can add you guys to the repo as collaborators.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my math font is derived from Noto Sans. Then if a designer includes the math font, like a couple of glyphs from the math font into his font, you have to add the copyright from Noto Sans, which I have in my font.
That's right. So if you check out the project checklist file,
right?
There's a OFL section. And basically, we should move projects to this new style of copyright notice that says copyright the name project authors. And then we don't have to keep updating it with all of the different copyright holders all the time.
Will that be a problem for math font?
Well, no, because then we just add Google to the list of authors.
Okay. Okay. Super. I can perhaps write it in the README, duplicate these instructions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Alexi.
Yes, yes.
The math font, is it more like it's not finished yet, am I right?
Well, I'm open to any improvements. It's functional now.
Yeah, but I've noticed some functionalities that aren't working right, and I kind of missed the mathematical signs like plus, equal, not equal. That might be an interesting addition as well because, for example, the font I'm working on doesn't. It's missing a part of those.
Sorry, are you telling me a math font should include the plus sign?
Well, I was under the impression that this math font was more to help us being more efficient in working.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I was just thinking that the plus sign is more like specific to
The creature, the plus sign might have some slime on it. But
yeah, basically it would represent the design. The design intention should be communicated in forms like that.
But the estimated symbol, not.
No, I think a generic plus sign would also work for a couple of fonts, so it would be good to have as well.
Like I said, I was under the impression it's like if a font doesn't have it, it's to be able to generate it pretty quickly. And
right.
Make some alterations so you don't have to build it.
Yeah,
that's right. I will do that. Sure.
Hey guys, if I remember correctly, Gunnar had issues last week about the automatic composite placement for looks like multiple accents within like a Q graph, for example. They both were in the character for one extended character sets. Was that resolved by chance? Because I ran into the issue while I was working over the weekend. I apologize for the detour in questioning.
I'm sorry, I didn't get what issue.
Sure, I'll do a screen share so I can demonstrate.
Is this to do with the glyphs filter list?
Yeah,
the glyph list.
It's the issue where the acute came on below as a below accent instead.
Oh yes, okay, that one I remember. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I see.
Well, it might be part of that too.
You
does
also
everybody
have...
see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's weird.
So the automatic placement places at the X height level, and yeah, kind of like in this collision episode going on. I believe Gunnar had that problem last week. Was that resolved? Is there somewhere I can find the information how to resolve that?
I think Glyph forum is best to go.
I'm sorry?
The Glyphs app forum.
Okay.
But before that, can you just send me this file quickly?
Oh, yeah,
just
sure.
right now, so I can have a look quickly.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I think I know what's happening, but yeah, I need to have a look quickly.
Okay.
On the jumbo.
By
Yeah.
the way, Thomas, did you see my troubleshooting guide? Was it helpful?
There's a troubleshooting guide? I didn't see that. Where was it?
It was. How do I send the link here? Like on encodings, GitHub encodings.
No, I didn't see that.
You gotta post these in a daily email, Alexi, so people see them.
Oh yeah, it was in the daily email, but.
No,
yeah.
I may have missed it. It might be completely my fault.
Okay. All right.
Also, just while that's getting figured out, so I'm working on a lobster, which is script typeface. Quick question. So all these accents we're building, what's the methodology recommended for dealing with? Should that be applied to all the, like, is the combining mark going to resolve the issue of being able to add accents? So all contextual alternates, especially things like that, in a script typeface. Is there any personal opinion about how to deal with that?
I think with regards to contextual alternates, you'll have to have anchors on all of them.
Okay.
All of the base glyphs.
Okay. That's much more reasonable. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I have to send you the file.
Dave, I had another question. On some of Vernon's repositories, there are in-progress directories that contain stuff that he's worked on. I think, would it be ideal to work on those things because they include additional glyphs and stuff like that, or is it better to continue on the older version, on the one
No,
on the release?
I think that it makes sense to use Vernon's newer source files.
Yeah. So I've worked on the newer files and kind of extended those instead of touching sources.
Yeah, I mean, I think that now as we're wrapping up the projects, these first ones, then I'm now going to look at them and how much impact the change is going to make, because I think that I'm comfortable with a little bit of reflow, a little bit of vertical metrics changes, but nothing too drastic. Yeah. It's kind of always going to be on a case-by-case basis, because we want to improve the quality of things while hopefully not being too disruptive to users. And if the original was just set wrong, then we just have to change it. At the same time, if we put within the constraints of the original, that's better. So
but we're not renaming. I mean, it's a bit of a silly question, but we're not renaming everything 1 or 2, right? These expansion ones?
No. So basically, there's a couple of fonts like Lobster and Lobster 2. And the reason for that is that Lobster was onboarded as a single style font, but it was kind of really like a bold italic. And so to have that as a full family, we couldn't just update Lobster because people would be upset. So we published the full family as Lobster 2. And then with EXO, we also, the redesign, basically every glyph was completely redrawn, and I felt like the feeling of the typeface was different, so it kind of was a different thing. But to sort of preempt that situation, then when we publish single style families, which could be expanded into bigger families, where the single style wouldn't be the regular 400 Roman, then we appended one to the family name, and then technically they are set as a regular Roman 400, and then that allows us to publish a full family later, and then remove that one, like delist that whatever one family. And this round of kind of cleanup work, we wouldn't do that, but maybe in the raisins work we would. Okay, so does anyone else have any questions?
No, I think my question's been answered. So just a heads up, though, team. I sent everyone an email with a primary proofing doc for covering, at least for the Pro set. That's what I was dealing with for the Pro set. A proofing doc for that. I sent it as a InDesign file and as a text file. It's mainly the spacing control setup. I think kind of we can use Autopsy for drawing checking. That seems to be a very good large setup. And I know Alexi looks like he had a specimen set template thing set up for running text. So I took over the weekend to make a spacing proof for all the currency, basically up to for the Google Plus, the Google Pro set that I was having for Lobster.
You're talking about currency. It just occurs to me: do we do monospace currencies like on tabular width, or are there proportional currencies? Because if you only do tabular, you don't need spacing tests.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jack. I was also thinking about the rationale to do why we need tabular math symbols, to forget about the spacing and kerning.
I mean, my understanding from last week's conversations about this question was that the default users expect are proportional lining as the default, and then from working around that. But I don't know, team. I know team different opinions about that. too.
Ooh. People often expect, default a tabular with currency signs. So, I don't know. You want default line figures proportional. So technically, you'll need like a proportional currency with that.
Well, I mean, did you make a decision to make a sort of collection-wide default, or are we going to do it on a font-by-font basis?
Well, I think we should differ between just expanded typefaces and the raisins. Excuse me.
Okay, so for the general collection, there's not going to be any consistency. The currency would just follow what the numbers are. And then when we really take a typeface up, then we would add the different kinds of numbers, and we would set the defaults to be whatever. To be, line tabular, for example.
Dave, can you repeat that again? Like for the most basic, like Creepster, you have tabular currencies, right?
I think that the idea with network is it's we're trying to reduce the scope, and so with a cleanup project, then whatever it is, we use the currency symbols in the same way. So if Peepster has tabular numbers, tabular currency. If it has proportional numbers, we make proportional currency.
Right.
Thomas?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, the reason it's not working is because it seems that the marks that are composite don't have anchors in them.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as I put anchors, it works perfectly fine.
All right, cool. Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that for this you're using. So these are like O diaresis macron, for example. I would suggest, since this is a glyph that was not included in the font and it's something that you're adding separately, to use the combining marks instead of the diaresis, like the spacing diaresis,
okay.
As a composite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you use the combining accents maker script?
No, I haven't tried that yet.
This is one that Alexi recommended.
Yeah.
On the process spreadsheet.
Yeah. I'll try that one for the next round.
Okay. Thomas, I see that you've posted the proofing document, but you've just emailed it rather than posting it on GitHub.
So I have it in my personal GitHub for the lobster documentation. Do you want it? Do you need it somewhere else?
No, that's fine. It's cool. I just I think it would be good to get more eyes on it. So having it, if you can just mention it in your daily email, I think that would be good.
Yeah, sure. Not an issue.
I see that it's not like a super long one.
Excuse me.
But yeah, I think this is very helpful. Maybe Pablo can put it into his testing page.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
As well as having it in design. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go back to the fonts mini workshop sheet. Let me share my screen. Okay. Oh, God. So. Right. Okay. So, is this cleanup checklist process been helpful? Have people use that like to check that they've done every step, or how's the overall process working for these cleanup projects?
I just finished Bevan, so I kind of went step by step through all of the stuff there. I did not use, like I said, a lot of the preparation stuff because I wanted to kind of, I'm still figuring out what the best way to do it is, and I'll include, taking notes, so I'll include those in the list there. Because I find it easier to first kind of add the combining mark block before I add all the stuff in the list, because it kind of makes a mess out of everything, especially because the anchors are not tested yet before we kind of add all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm not kind of following the production steps, but all the checking, I'm making sure that all the stuff is checked using the path scripts and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Because yeah, I mean, I think you know, I think if we can get like a very like concrete like set of steps that we consider to be like the sort of cleanup process, and maybe in some families not every step makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think that if we can get that list, and I will be able to recruit some slightly more junior type designers, who can then work on this cleanup process, and then that would give you guys more time to work on the raisin stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that up either today or first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay. What about the rest of you guys? Do you have anything else to add to this sheet?
Oh, one last thing for file naming on the glyph list. So I'll screen share. So the numerator and denominator, there's sections in the glyph list where it's spelled out, like 1 dot numerator, for example, or 1 dot denominator. And then there's another section where it's, for example, 1 dot denom, or 1 dot, like it's abbreviated. Is there a preference for which slots? Do you both need to be there, or is this a redundancy, or what's recommended for dealing with this?
It should be denom. It should be denom.
So the ones that are spelled out, those should be removed.
Those are old. Feel free to rename.
Wait, I'm sorry?
But you can rename the longer names, make it shorter.
No, I understand that, but my point is in the glyph list given to us, both slots were given, both a full spelling and then these abbreviated spellings. So I just wanted to make sure that that's okay. Basically, we can remove the full spelled ones, convert them to the small spelled ones, the abbreviated version, file name. Does that make sense?
It should be the shorter ones. I don't know how old the list is, but it should be the shorter ones.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Just clarifying. Okay.
What exactly is the name that you're going to rename?
I'm sorry?
Now, what exactly are you going to rename in the glyph list?
Well, here, I'll screen share, so I'll point out what I mean.
Okay.
Okay. All right, does everybody see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the slots are all filled in for numerator denominator.
Okay. The sub. Okay.
Yes. But then if I go to fractions, notice how there's then abbreviated versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are using this because glyphs uses .denom to auto-generate the features. So I think you should use these ones rather than the full
spelling.
denominator. Yeah, rather than full denominator and numerator.
So when I look at the Latin expert unique glyphs NAM file, I don't see those longer names.
I might have an outdated version of the glyph list.
No. It was there originally. The short versions. It could do some. It could do something with updating glyphs data. I think the best bet is to select these glyphs and click glyphs update glyphs data and see what happens.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. All right. So thank you guys for the input. Thanks for the clarity. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay.
Thomas, you can always ping me if you have these glyphs questions, since I'm on the same time
No, of
zone.
course. It just we were all basically. I don't want to. It was a weekend. Didn't want to bother anybody. It's our first time back.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't totally follow. Where did the long form names come in? Or how did they get introduced?
Were they already in the file, Thomas?
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah, they were already.
Okay, got it. Great. But yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense, right? If it's a VFB encoding, then it would be, having maybe quite arbitrary glyph names for this kind of thing.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I mean, there are a lot of these things that you encounter when you open a file for the first time. There are glyphs already included with the same Unicodes that are in the list, and when you try to generate them, glyphs will throw out an error saying these are already included. What do you want to do with these? So I think for that I tried to write a small script that did glyph renaming, but the glyphs Python API is not as simplistic as RoboFab, so it has some. I get some error with a Objective-C library. I need to send that to Georg to ask why that is happening.
Kalapi, why are you not happy with the glyphs updates? Wait, I'm gonna.
It's not updating it for me.
Yeah, but you have to unclick use custom names. That's probably the catch.
Okay, I'll try that again, but I'm sure I did that before. So
yeah, I know it works. It's very buggy. I was also thinking about a script, but I managed to rename all glyphs in Noto. Just by it just doesn't work on the first time.
Maybe you have to restart the program.
It has to do with custom naming. Like if you have a custom naming option checked, then it won't allow you to do this. Let me guys share a link with the troubleshooting.
Okay.
Oops. Ah, it's on a different branch. Sorry, just 1 second. Troubleshooting. Do you see the link I posted?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Kalapi, you know this script make production names?
Yeah.
Are you trying to like use it as a basis to make nice names instead of it?
Which script are you talking about?
There's a script called make production names.
1 second.
And it converts all glyphs to uni naming. I will send you the script, and I will see if maybe
Is
you
it
could.
part of the Mecha Blue script, glyph
No,
scripts
it's
library?
on Georg's. It's on Georg's list.
Okay. Okay.
Would be nice.
I can just clone his repository, glyph scripts repository, and then.
We can chat about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just thinking about the sort of next steps this week. I sent out an email, with some suggestions about what families people would work on next. Jacques and Thomas, you guys are still going on BT3, T3, and Lobster, right?
Yeah, I am, because I have to rebuild the whole font, and initially we thought it was just copy pasting pixels, but there's more subtlety to that. So it took me more time as originally planned. But if everything goes right, I should be able to finish quite a lot of today, and maybe even completely finish it. But
okay.
I like I wrote on the GitHub, I build it directly into 1000 UPM units.
Yeah.
Which changed subtly some of the vertical metrics. So we should think about replacing it, or maybe giving it another name. I don't know. That's something we should compare and try out, because I can imagine. Because the original one, for example, has the outlines were not exactly on the baseline, so they were a little bit lower. So if suddenly everything changes, it could have some implications for people using it. So I think we'll have to compare.
Okay, that sounds cool. And then Thomas.
Yeah, so I basically had these technical hiccups stopping me from completing. But no, overall, yeah, I'm very confident now to move forward to completing this today.
Okay. And then Clappy said you're going to move on with Irvin?
Sorry? Yeah, I'm going to be moving on with Anaheim. Yeah.
Anaheim.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Jack and Thomas, I need to get you guys the source files for Sigma 1 and Bangers. And so yeah, I'll follow up, in the next couple of hours with that.
Okay.
And then as these projects are finishing, then we can hand them off to Nguyen to do the Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Maybe I'm building it anyway. Maybe I should I can incorporate that, because before Nguyen has found out about this flexible components and thinking out this logic behind this pixel thingy, maybe it will take less work to do it myself.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm very happy, if you want to just do it and then she can review it, I think that's good too. Because there's a lot of fonts that she can add Vietnamese to, and so if you can do it and she can review it, I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah, but I think it's better, it's more effective because due to design. If it was like a straight sans serif or serif, I would just say let her do it. But I think this is would be the better choice.
Yeah, that sounds good. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, and then Alexi, where are you at with the Cyrillic side of things?
I have a planned which families should have the families and their respective encodings. So my next step would be to define the untouchable families from this list, and because currently there's about 40, and then we'll need to define the same procedure with like reaching out to author, like similar to Latin.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can just go over that a bit in detail after the call with the others, because there's no need for everyone to stay on that.
Right.
But yeah. Okay. So that sounds good. So everyone's clear what they'll be doing for the next couple of days. When do you think we should do another sync up call? Maybe next week?
Yeah, either end of the week or next week.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make a round of mails somewhere Thursday to see how if there are any big questions that should be answered. So we can organize on Friday a call eventually, if necessary.
Yeah, that sounds good. How do people feel about the daily 3-line email stuff? Because I see that Kalapi's been very good about that. But I
didn't add one I didn't add one today because I have one thing to do is finishing the font. So being lazy here. Yeah.
I think it's very natural when we're on the flow, actually executing. You know, for me personally, it's been a lot of technical, just like, oh wait, this question, this, that.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly the most efficient to be bullet pointing out that progress. But like when we're on the raisins, for example, that was very easy. I can very easily clarify that in an update setup. So ideally today, with Lobster's conclusion, I can do that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that you know, the reason that I'm suggesting, you know, that you guys do that, especially if we're not doing such regular calls, is it's helpful for me to understand where people are at, and it gives us like a regular point for, you know, asking any unresolved questions, and that long term, you know, we're going to try and document, you know, the whole project. And that by having this journal, then it's going to allow Amber, Bryn, and, you know, the editorial staff to sort of see what happened when, and where the time went, to help tell the story of the project.
That's good. I'll put it in.
Okay. So yeah. So I guess I just, you know, I don't mind, you know, to keep reminding you guys. But I want to be sensitive to if you have any objections about it, if you think it's not working, if you know, if you have ideas about how we could reach those goals in a different way that you would prefer.
Yeah, I was one question, because to me the whole thing working online with GitHub and stuff is pretty new to me.
Yeah.
At what stage would you want me to push or to upload the state of a project? When it's finished, or in between, or?
I mean, I don't see any reason to keep any of the work private. You know, I would sort of push things as I was going. You know, every like a few, I would be making commits around the same rate that I save the file, and then I would push those commits up, you know, just as and when, like maybe every couple of hours, like a few times a day.
Okay.
That would just be my way of working, just so that if anybody is going to look at the project and, you know, give me any feedback, that they're not looking at an old version.
Yeah, to me, I would prefer to do it when it's finished, to know like people don't have to look into a file if it's halfway. I mean, that's.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a problem. I think that you know, people have their own styles, and that's kind of where I feel like, you know, if you only want to commit like the final version, like boom, this is the update. That's, to me, that's where the daily emails then become more important, because then if in 3 months' time you want to look back to what happened on the week of July 5th, then there's going to be no record of what happened that week. If there's just one commit and there's no daily emails. I think that Thomas's I think that glyphs Git plugin looks quite good, so that when you press Apple S to save, then it's actually doing the Git commits.
Well, there's one small problem with that, is that when I started designing, I worked on very crappy old Macintoshes. So I have a kind of reflex of typing in Command S every 10 seconds. I don't think that would help.
So actually, David, what I do is, I'm very much like Jock. I'm training myself to Apple S consistent always, like forever.
Yeah.
What I do is I use the GitHub desktop application. It kind of just catches all those saves.
It works well because I've downloaded it as well. I wanted to try it out.
Yeah, it works really well, basically, because it's just collecting all your saves, and then you kind of just, what I do is generally when I'm making a proof. If I make a proof, that's a very natural report time. So I export out a proof, and then I go to the GitHub desktop, and then I fill in, like, the commit to master thing. That's enough information to describe what you're doing. Like adhesion or hamburger fonts dev, or I did these changes to it. It also works for me good because it also helps clarify what am I looking for in the proof, actually. I find it makes me more efficient. Because it gives me clarity of what am I looking for in this proof to review.
Yeah.
So it's not like
that sounds good.
Yeah, so it's not like you're doing a commit every save, because that would be, nothing really happens a lot of times in these saves. It's in the combination something happens.
Yeah, I can see that. We would have that reflex to just save all the time. I can see that for sure.
Yeah. But no, it's very natural. I think that's a very I found that with Quicksand, that project, it was very natural to do this flow. It worked out pretty well. It was not very obtrusive to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna make a little note.
Cool. Oh, by the way, Kalabi, I'm still having problems over here because probably I'm just a dumb with glyphs. You mind if I ping you directly after this call?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, So I see that Jung has just joined us. Hello.
Hi.
I think we need to start sort of coordinating with you about as the fonts are coming down the cleanup line. You can then take a look at the Vietnamese, Pablo is here on the call as well. Do you have any more questions about the Libra Franklin or the process for the team?
She's on mute, so we may not be able to.
Okay. She said in the chat that everything's clear. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess we can kind of break up the group call. I don't think we've got anything more for the team. I think if Nguyen and Pablo, if you could chat after the call about the Libra Franklin, so that gets to 100% complete. And then I'll chat with Alexei about the Cyrillic stuff, and then I think Thomas and Kalapi want to talk about this stuff, and then I will get the next project source files to Thomas and Jack. Do you guys have any concerns about the fonts I suggested to use to work on next?
Wait a minute, I've seen it.
So, David, what is the question for me, Jack?
Basically, when you finish VT3, T3, and Lobster, then which project will you work on next?
Okay. Did you assign it to us already in the Google Docs?
I think that I didn't update it in the sheet yet, but my suggestion was Sigmar 1, which is like a wood cut type. Put the link in.
That was for Thomas, wasn't it? He gave me another one.
Yeah, and then bangers.
I didn't understand that, Dave.
So when you finish VT3T3 and Lobster, what family will you work on next?
Didn't you send us an email on that?
Yes. And so I just wanted to check that you guys are happy with those designs.
Oh, I haven't reviewed yet, quite frankly. So I can't answer that question at the moment. I need to see what am I doing. What am I doing?
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, so ping me later today, and we can discuss that.
Dave?
Yeah.
Where did I did read this morning, but I can't remember where. Did you send an email?
It was in my email to the group. Subject: Organizing Google Fonts in 2016.
Okay. No. Wait a minute. Moment. I'll look into it, and if I have some questions, I'll ping you.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be. I wouldn't want to people have waiting for me.
Yeah, I mean, because I was kind of mindful that we needed to decide what to do quickly, so I just threw some ideas down. But obviously, if you think, well, I'm not going to work on this.
Didn't we say that you just work top down? The first one on the line just takes the next font. I mean, I actually don't care.
I personally have no preference for design, what we're doing for this phase. So yeah, if I'm assigned Sigmar 1, I'll take Sigmar 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and can't you remember? Can't you tell me what name you had for me, because I can't find the mail.
Sorry. Jack was Sigmar 1 and Thomas was bangers.
Okay, that's fine too.
I just put them in the group chat here. The links.
Okay. Here, so I'll search for it in the spreadsheet and plug in my name for Sigmar.
Exactly. Sigmar 1 is like the very fat small case font.
Oh, sorry, I have bangers. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Bangers. Cool.
We heard that.
Got it. All right. That's my next assignment. So by the way, we do have now a formalized process document for our cleanup work. Is that correct?
Yeah, this cleanup checklist on this spreadsheet, right?
Okay. So I can use. I'll refer to that and move forward with bangers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if there's anything else, if there's anything missing or anything that needs to be reordered, please just do it in the spreadsheet. What I'm hoping is that by the end of this week, this cleanup checklist will be really crystal clear about what all the possible steps are to do in 4 to 12 hours.
Okay.
And then I'll be able to then try and find more type designers to get involved in the project, and I'll tell them, like, this is the process, this is how much time we think it will take, this is how many families we have, and I can try and get more designers involved to try and make more progress towards our target of say 100 families cleaned up or whatever.
Okay.
Because I think that it makes sense that you guys would set up this process and define what quality means, and then you guys would have more time to focus on the higher popularity families, the way you can really make a difference in taking something from 4-star to 5-star, and that more sort of junior type designers could work on the cleanup expansion work.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine with me.
But in order to enable that to happen, we need to get really clear about what that process is. that we're asking people to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll add my notes.
Okay. All right.
When do you think you have the data from Vernon? Especially, I'm talking now about Sigma 1.
Oh, I'll send it to you in the next few hours.
Okay, because I'll have to look into it because on the test sheet on Google Fonts don't see any accents, so maybe you have to be all drawn all over again. So that maybe it'll take a little more, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Again, sort of last week we were setting up. This week we're actually doing it, and I think on the call on Friday we can sort of discuss like the overall schedule and figure out like how many extra people we need to bring in, in order to meet the target of 100 families, and what the range of time is actually, for doing this job, because we've estimated it, that it would be 1 or 2 days, and we're currently, just short of 2 days. So if it went from 12 hours to 14 hours, 15 hours, that's still within the 2-day sort of range. So yeah, I think adding time estimates. I don't know. How do you guys want to go about this? Do you think that we should set up the spreadsheet differently?
Sorry.
Well, personally, I want to, assuming again, as I need to go through. Recently, I had a lot of technical issues, for example, in mine. It's just technical problems. So
Yeah.
I was not, I am not able to even report an accurate time estimate, let alone is this document even the right process per se. I need to go through it, and I can report back if that's the case or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't check it because the font I'm working on doesn't need most of the points until now. So.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the spreadsheet. Let me share my screen again. So I'm thinking that maybe we could add some columns in, for the families that people are working on. Which families were they? Let's track. Oh boy. So we had like Bevan. Your other one, Clappy? What was the families that you worked on?
Sorry, are you asking me something?
Yeah. Which families did you work on? Bevan and
Anton. Yeah.
And then Alexei, did you work on one?
No, I didn't.
You've just been doing setup work. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Okay, and then Gunnar was going to work on one as well. But yeah, so for example, we have these families in these columns like this, and then we can go down and we can say that these things were done. We could even add in like a time estimate, that this took like 45 minutes, and then this took 2 minutes and whatever, and then we could end up with an estimate of the time taken. Do you think that would be helpful for like defining this checklist?
I think it will cost us an hour of work, which we might invest in something else. But I'm not a list guy, so don't take my opinion. I'll follow if needed.
I guess what I'm concerned about is that this list would not be accurate and complete. So when I'm taking it to try and get other designers involved, it's going to misrepresent the work.
Yeah. I think this is like an exhaustive list. So I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. We need to really see, because every project has its own has its own problems. So depending on those problems, you kind of, like Bevan for me was easier than Anton was because it was old. Anton is a bit older. So there were different things that were required for both. So I mean, I think it's a good thing to have an exhaustive list, but I think we still need to focus. So like, for example, we decided not to change metrics and not to touch kerning and stuff like that. So I think it's a bit misleading that there is metrics scripts like sync metrics in all masters and you know, all those adjust metrics programmatically and stuff like that. I think that's a bit misleading. And that should be after skipped. I mean, it should be in the section after skipped steps. I know that we need to kind of fix where they're really fix problems where they're quite jarring, but I think that does not apply to this.
Okay, that's cool. I just written down.
I think the other, yeah, I think the other thing is maybe we can have a separate approach, maybe a separate sheet for Cyrillic, so that we can differentiate the two.
Yeah, guys, I'm working on this Cyrillic sheet right now. I will add this to the sheet.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I guess maybe I think rather than trying to, as you know, you guys have got a lot to do this week. Rather than getting you all involved in this, I think maybe if we just say Calapi is gonna refine the checklist, and then there's a person with the responsibility to do it, and then if he has any questions, he can ask people individually.
I mean, I can do that first. I can do that in my first half tomorrow, and then we can review it over on the discussions list on GitHub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. I think that's good.
Great. We all good?
I think so. Everyone's clear. Nobody needs anything from me to move forwards.
No.
Other than the source files for the two families for Thomas.
Correct.
And Jack.
I'm fine.
Yeah, all good.
Great. All right. So Young and Pablo and Thomas and Calapi and Alexi will continue individually. Okay.
Cool.
Pleasure. All right, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye. Have a nice day.